Welcome to Ground Up Growth, where we share entrepreneurial insights, business strategies, and personal growth lessons to help listeners build success from the ground up.
All right, welcome back to Ground Up Growth. This is episode 16. I've got Alex Eaton here. Alex is the owner-operator of Aplós Mediterranean restaurant. Alex is a lot better chef than I am, so I am so excited to unpack this. And
you just got to be able to read to cook.
Man,
So
I guess I can't read because I can't cook much of anything. So, Alex, thank you so much for coming on. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how old you are, where you from.
All right, I'm 40 years old. I'm from Ridgeland, Mississippi, off Old Agency Road, back when nobody was doing it.
Hang on. The reason me and Alex are both sweating is because we just Alex has been here all day. First off, we had an equipment nightmare this morning, and he was supposed to film early and got pushed back. Now he spent the whole day out here. I had 8 box stands, deer stands delivered, and he did not know that, but he is.
Yeah,
he's all in.
We've been working.
He actually works at Hopper now.
Yeah, so. He sold me 2 acres for helping. Bought 2 acres.
All right, you're 40.
Okay, I'm 40. I'm from Ridgeland, Mississippi before anyone was doing it. And now we have an Aplós second.
Where did you grow up in Ridgeland?
Off Old Agency past Dinsmore.
Okay.
So it was a rock road. I had no idea what my dad was doing.
You're on the west side. I grew up on the east side.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And so we, hung out with all the guys in Jackson, and then I'd have to get home. So I didn't know what we were doing out there, to be honest. But now it's obviously a good spot. But 40 years old, went to Jackson Prep, Mississippi State, and then moved to North Carolina to go to culinary school.
All right, hold up. Did you work in high school?
No, and that's one of my biggest regrets and one of the most important things that I would like to have my kids do. My first job was a landscaping job one summer at Mississippi State. Okay. But I think that it's important, especially with boys, to have some sort of job in the summer just to kind of understand what work is, understand that you're not too good to do things. Mm-hmm. Restaurant jobs are good jobs, but they're also, restaurants are full of all walks of life.
Right.
So if I had my boys at a young age work at a restaurant, it would be more of pressure washing, cleaning up tables. Wouldn't put them in the kitchen at first, but just working in some capacity, even if it's for little to no money, you've got to work, especially, once you get through the sports phase and they need to understand what life's about.
That's right. And, I think that's very parallel with Parker Sullivan's podcast about the grocery stores and like just growing up at a young age, in that there's so many benefits from time management to just self-discipline. And
you can give them all options even, hey, I got a buddy that's got tugboats, got a buddy that got 10 deer stands he needs put together. I got a buddy who owns restaurants, but you're going to do something 3 days a week this summer.
That's right. No, I think that's great. So you went to Mississippi State. What'd you major in?
I started in construction management.
I did too.
And, got into those classes and probably partied a little too much at first, but noticed everybody had on these work boots, so now I have some, but then I didn't. Most of the guys had a dip in their mouth, and once AutoCAD kicked off, I said, maybe I ought to get in some marketing classes or something. So probably should have stuck with construction management, although, I ended up with just kind of hodgepodging a degree together and once I realized I was going to culinary school, I started getting into some marketing and business classes and just kind of created a degree basically to get out of there.
So what made you want to go to culinary? I mean, did you grow up loving to cook? I mean,
started going home, and my mom and dad both worked, and I would kind of, when you live out in this area, like where you live, it's not like you can just rip and go get a sandwich real quick somewhere. So you kind of had to cook a snack or whatever. And it's funny because my kids do it now, but it's probably started with a grilled cheese. Then I wanted a steak, and then I wanted, how do I not burn this? So started there, and then Boy Scouts. I was a Boy Scout. Yeah. We did extreme Boy Scouts, and then started doing it on the camp outs. And then when I decided to turn it into a profession was one summer when I was living in Boulder, Colorado, with no business being in Boulder. We just lived there for a summer with some buddies. And
After state?
It was in my junior year.
Okay.
And I just kind of was like, they got jobs in restaurants, and I actually got joined the Cutco sales and sold Cutco knives to my family. But I started helping a guy clean pizza ovens in Lyons, Colorado. He was buying a pizzeria, and he needed some help setting it up. And I was like, man, this guy, I mean, he was like a, widespread panic, like lot guy. And for some reason was opening a pizzeria. I'm like, this guy can do this. Certainly, if I try at it, I can do it. And so when I got back after that summer, my dad was like, if you finish Mississippi State, you can do whatever you want. Whatever it is you want to do, but you got to graduate. We'll support it. And so I was like, I want to go to culinary school, and the rest is history. So, nice. Learned a lot working in restaurants. I worked at the Veranda in Starkville. Was my first restaurant job. My dad wanted me to, see if I wanted to do it by doing it. And had I known how tough it was, there was times I'd want to quit, but not letting your kids quit sports when they just have a bad day or bad year, finishing things through will, every job's going to be hard and make you want to quit at some point.
Right.
But, yeah. So
where's culinary school? Where's that?
So I went to Johnson and Wales in Charlotte. They had a campus in New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Denver, Miami, and I thought it was Charleston, South Carolina, but they'd moved it. This was when Google was barely out, but I Googled Johnson and Wales and it said Charleston still on the website, but it ended up being in Charlotte. They moved it. And when I found out you had to, you couldn't miss a day of school or you got kicked out, I figured I better go to Charlotte because had I been in Miami or Denver,
you might have slipped up.
I've been partying a little too much.
Right.
Yeah.
So how long is culinary school?
Well, when you get a degree, especially from Mississippi State, I mean, they're not used to kids really coming from like a
bachelor's degree.
Bachelor's degree. I did a 2-year program, but normally it'd be 4 years. So I'd already had all my business, maths, all your college curriculum, and being in an SEC school, it all carried over. Yeah. And then just 2 years of working and culinary school.
So who is like the chef that you look up to? Is like, hey, that's the Michael Jordan of chefs. Like, you get somebody you look up to.
It's kind of changed over time. But back then it was probably Frank Stitz in Birmingham. I really liked a couple guys in Birmingham. Hot and Hot Fish Club, went and worked there for a little while. That's the thing is, we'll get into this a little later, but like the majority of what I learned was from going into restaurants and working for free for guys or restaurants that I liked. So for instance, me and my wife I went to bread school in San Francisco. Well, I'd find concepts that were like what I was trying to do with the wood-fired kitchen concept, for instance. And I'd find a couple wood-fired restaurants. After bread school, I'd go work in a restaurant for free and just help. And then we'd go eat at it. And then, so
you're just taking all this information in and
anything you want to do, you want to go surround yourself with people that are better than you, and then act like you don't know anything. And that's how I've kind of learned with anything.
That's like spot on. What we keep talking about on Ground Up Growth is just like, hey, I don't know. Help me, show me. I'm willing to learn. And people, I'm interested to hear how they handle that, or how, if you came to them with that approach, it seems like they'd just be more than willing to help you.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, and this is, I'm passionate about restaurants, food, and business in general. But I bought some property and thought, this can't be hard. I'm just going to get a tractor and plant food plots, and it's going to be great. And I'm just going to watch YouTube videos and learn. Well, I can tell you right now, we could film a show called Habitat Nightmares with everything I did wrong on that first tract of land I bought. But man, it's you'd be surprised in your industry how many people will help you, how many people will teach you because they were taught. So, you know, a lot of people think, me and Derek Emerson, for instance, right now, I was in Texas and Mexico getting ready to open a Mexican concept that I'm about to open that I didn't really plan on opening, but it's one of those things. I made an offer on a restaurant that came available from Aplós, and I didn't think they'd take my offer, but I just kind of wanted to control my neighbor, essentially.
For sure.
And, well, you've probably done that with property.
Absolutely.
You know, I want to control I'm going to make them an offer. They probably won't accept it. And,
Right.
Well, they accepted it. And so to do a Mexican concept, you know, we know how to run a restaurant financially right now, finally. But now it's like, oh man, we got to open a Mexican restaurant. What, you know, I'm half Lebanese, half Irish. You know, what am I going to do? So I've gone to Mexico City, Mexico, Dallas. And my point being is Derek announced that he was opening a Mexican restaurant. And I'm like, dude, I'm literally in Dallas about to open a Mexican restaurant in Highland Village. Just want you to know, because we're buddies. But we still talk all the time, even about this. Hey, what are you going to be doing? This is what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
You know,
iron sharpens iron.
How do we, you know, not, you know, we know the area needs some Mexican restaurants or elevated Mexican restaurant. I don't want to, you know, do what you're doing. You don't want to do what I'm doing. Obviously, we're going to have some carryover, but, you know, you've got to keep people in your business that are running a good business as friends,
right?
And communicate. And hey, this is what I'm doing. It's working. Try it out. You know, that's just how you got to operate.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, there's a lot of synergy that goes with that I think would help both. You know, your competition in one regard, but if you work together, I think that's got to be a lot of good can come from that. All right, so when you're in culinary school, is it in your mind that, hey, I'm gonna do my own gig? Like that's the plan. I want to start a business, run a business.
Yeah, I didn't know how to get there, and I really didn't know how tough it was going to be. But it's kind of like a sport. Cooking is. It's not a daddy business, so. Your dad can't get you this job. Your dad can't teach you how to do it. Now, not to say if your dad was in the restaurant business, you couldn't work in the restaurant or learn from your dad, but they will literally, if your dad got you a job as an executive chef of a restaurant and you didn't have any skills or know how to run it, it'd be like throwing you into a prison and saying you're in charge. So, and there was times where it felt like I was in a prison, but you know, you say, okay, I want my own restaurant, and how do I get there? Well, you get humbled real quick because you start out at the lowest totem pole. All my friends, I grew up with a bunch of wealthy guys or family money, long money guys, and that right out of college, their houses were paid for. They had great jobs. They were living in cool cities. And I was graduated from Mississippi State, and I was making $13 an hour in culinary school. Graduated culinary school, magna cum laude, moved to New Orleans to work for John Besh, which that's one of my favorite chefs, John Besh. A guy named Alon Shire, both are really high-end, famous guys. But John Besh was a lot like us. He hunts. He was a military guy. So where was I?
You went to New Orleans.
Yeah, but you know, you're making $13 an hour. You're pouring out grease late at night. It's raining. Your friends are probably making, I don't know, back then probably started out making $70,000 a year, I would guess, maybe 80, 100, 120. You're making $25,000 an hour. And so what I did when I got to New Orleans, a year. And so what I did mentally was I ended up working 2 jobs in New Orleans. And this is back, we opened a brand new restaurant called Domenico, which is an Italian restaurant. And I was working for the Brennan family as well at Mr. B's. But in my mind, I was making $26 an hour because I was working 2 jobs. But I just didn't really tell anybody. So in my mind, I'm making, I don't know what that came out to be, $50,000 to $55,000 an hour. But I'm also learning.
A year, not
but I'm learning. I'm literally soaking up New Orleans. The Brennan family was known for how they treated their employees, so I learned how to take care of employees. We were the hottest restaurant at Dominica when we opened. So we were super busy. It was the year the Saints won the Super Bowl. You had Mardi Gras. I mean, it was a sight to be seen.
How old are you? I mean, how are you at this time?
28.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you married? Because you married, you got three
So my
kids.
wife moved to Charlotte at 6. She graduated 6 months before me and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm gonna go to culinary school." And so, well, I guess I'm gonna move to Charlotte and get a job. And so she moved to Charlotte, got a job, and then I ended up moving 6 months later. So basically, at that point, we got married.
Yeah.
Moved to New Orleans. I wanted to go to Italy or Colorado, and she halted that. Let's stay in the South. Let's go to New Orleans. Ended up reaching out. I found out that Al Roberts and Bill Latham, some restaurateurs around Jackson, were opening Babalu, which was a taco restaurant. It's since closed, but I thought they had retired. They sold Amerigos and Char. They started that.
Okay.
And so I wrote them an email saying, "Hey, I'm a, private school kid from Jackson. I'm down here in New Orleans training. Just writing y'all an email to let you know if y'all are getting back in the restaurant business, I'd be happy to," I was thinking that's how you do it. You got to find some restaurant guys that'll invest in you and let you open a restaurant. So within a month, I was living in Flowood, opening Table 100. Wow. So I was hired as the chef de cuisine. So the second in control of Table 100, and was working with a German chef that came off of cruise ships. So I knew I could cook, but I didn't know how to run a business. I didn't know how to read a P&L statement. I didn't know how to, hire, fire, manage a crew. Yeah. So spent 2 years at Table 100, and that's where that's where I learned the business.
The business side.
I mean, they started wanting to grow, and they had a board of restaurateurs that were growing the brand of Babalu, and a guy named Buster Corley from Dave & Buster's gave me his business card and said, "If you ever need anything, give me a call." And of course, I walked away, and I'm like, "Damn, that's Buster from Dave & Buster's." So I ended up opening my first restaurant at 29, Manship Wood-Fired Kitchen. Probably wasn't ready to do it, but that was where I cut my teeth and went out on my own. And
so when you do that, because I know nothing about this industry, but I'm in real estate, I'm just curious, do you sign a lease when you're doing that?
Yes. So first you got to get the concept, and then you got to sell it. And, I didn't have any money. I knew a bunch of guys that I knew would invest. And so, put the concept together, find the location, and then you got to go raise the money. Right. And so you're trying to, a business that is.
And they don't teach that in culinary school, I'm assuming.
They don't teach. You just accelerate seeing a bunch of stuff at culinary school. Yeah. You don't learn how to do what you really need to do in culinary school. I wish they would preface that before you sign up. A lot of those kids aren't even in the restaurant business now. So, but you've got to raise the money just like any business. You got to sell the idea. And then you're in an industry where 9 out of 10 restaurants fail. So we were basically fortunate with our first investor group that it was a bunch of extremely wealthy guys who were doing it kind of as a little hobby.
Yeah.
We made every mistake in the book. We undercapitalized at one point. But we fought. We learned what not to do. At one point, I had 10 people on salary, had no idea that wasn't a good idea. And actually, it's funny because at that time, I was just a chef, and all I cared about was having the best food, the best ingredients, the best logo, the best, I was making the cheese for the pizza. I was making the dough. I was literally making everything but money. So that's pretty important when you're running a business and all your buddies are coming around saying, "Man, y'all are killing it. Man, I love coming there. You're so great." And there's two things you got to have, and that is you got to have a lot of will to get through those moments,
Right.
And then it helps if you got a badass wife to keep your ass in check. Like, dude, you know, you're getting all these awards, James Beard Award nominees and all. But at the end of the day, I'm flipping burgers. You know, you're not doing anything that special. You know, this is a business, and you got to start treating it like a business.
Right.
And it takes a while to figure out, okay, what is this for if I'm not making money?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what am I, you know, if you just were selling land, for instance, to all your buddies for no profit, but hell, you're selling a lot of land. Well, you know.
Yeah, that's only so cool.
Yeah, and just understanding that, and I think that my love of business and transactions and the hiring and firing and the putting the systems together came from my Lebanese background, my Lebanese heritage, because we came to America as Christians and got here, and it wasn't like our families didn't have money. They had money. They were escaping being killed. So we came here and we started selling clothes. We started opening grocery stores, and we started restaurants. That's really primarily what the Lebanese did when they arrived. And so I love the selling stuff that people want, making a profit. I love working with other vendors and other people who are also, that's what I tell some of these other guys in the restaurant business, that, you know, they're like, well, I can fix that myself, or I can do that myself, or, you know, I'm not, they're going to make money on that, like designers or upholstery people or IT, you know, but you want that. You want everyone to like you and to think you're legit and think you're a good guy, so that maybe you don't get the highest price, but you want people making money that are associated with you and doing business with you.
Right.
You don't always want people thinking that, you know, I'm not going to make any money off you. It's fine.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good point.
So that's really kind of, you know, so back to that, learned everything not to do with manship. Finally had a little bit of success, and then, you know, learned some hard lessons about partnerships even, you know, and it's, in my opinion, it's two parts of being in a partnership. There's the fight when things aren't going good and you're not making money. And that's one part, and you got to be a great partner for that. But then it's all about how when you start getting a little taste of success, how does that partner act in that scenario? Yeah. And like I said, I thought I was always just going to be the chef and the executive chef. And what I was doing was relying on others to handle, quote unquote, the business side and the finances and the stuff that really mattered, signing the leases and you know. And my biggest advice to someone getting into business, and especially into partnerships, is don't ever pigeonhole yourself into being just the chef or just the guy out selling land and the partners back at the home office, you know.
Yeah, steering the ship.
And, you know, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Just, you know, always make sure that you know everything that's going on.
Yeah, you need to have your thumb on all facets of the business, whether you like it or not. There's things that you're good at, or you may be a better chef than you are a bookkeeper, but in the same breath, if it's your business, you've got to have your thumb on it to know. I mean, you may not want to learn how to read a P&L statement, but you better 100%. Figure it out. You're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
It may just have L and no P in it.
Yeah, exactly. And then I, you know, about halfway through manship, I was like, man, I got to, like, this is a lot slower than I thought. I'm starting to have kids. Like, I got to do something else too. And so fortunately for me, I was like, I like doing Mediterranean food. I've been doing it at manship. It doesn't make much sense. I want to do one concept called Aplós, and I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to learn. So I went to...
What year is this?
This was 7 years ago.
And what does Aplós mean?
Simple. And it was anything but simple at first. So Aplós came about, and I went out to San Francisco again and worked at a place called Souvla with two guys. They brought me in, showed me everything. They have about 8 locations now, maybe 10, I don't know. But they were kind of doing the same thing: wraps, bowls, very small menu, wraps, bowls, and I believe plates. And they brought me in and showed me everything. This is how you do it. They didn't think I was a threat. I'm from Mississippi. And,
Right.
But that's, literally what I did. I went from there, and then I went to, I went to bread school there. I went to, just always trying to learn and work with people. And it never hurts to ask someone if you can come look under the hood. A lot of times they'll show you, because they're probably thinking you can't drive the truck as good as me once it's going.
Right.
And that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
I'll show you, but I'm not going to do it for you.
Right.
So Aplós was, so it did good, but not great at first. We were trying to be too authentic. And
what was the location where you started?
Highland Village,
Okay.
Right by the Whole Foods.
Yep.
It was a old place you'd go to get senior gifts for college kids. It was like a organizer store or something. But anyway, I was with my best friends. It's like, hey, I'm about to open this restaurant. Who all wants in? And so literally they were like, I'm in. So my investors in Aplós, a lot of people don't know it, are my best friends. And we can get into that in a minute. But we funded it, and we got into it relatively cheap, and ran it for about 3 years. It wasn't really making a whole lot of money. It was making a little bit of money. But then COVID hit, and that's when the game changed, because we were already set up for it. We had the technology, Toast, the Toast platform. You see all these people with the Toast, and then the neighborhood and community really supported the situation. They're like, man, I mean, I'm sitting there looking at 10,000, maybe it was 10 million, some kind of number on Fox News about restaurants are going out of business. So I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So you probably know our buddy Travis Sledge. Mm-hmm. He called me. He had just bought a meat company that made hogshead sows.
Right.
And there was some deli meat shortages. So he called me, and he's like, hey, do you know how to make these meats? I'm like, we can figure it out. So I started working with him on ham and cheese and liver cheese.
Really?
So we started working on that in the mornings, and then I'd go to the restaurants, and we were working on all kinds of stuff to try to stay afloat. And then I started making my smoked tuna dip at night. So there was a point where I had 4 or 5 jobs. I was private chefing, and I mean, it was nuts.
How did that play into the personal life? Because you got 3 kids, right?
Well, yeah, I think at that point I had 3 kids, and it was tough. I thought that's how it was going to be forever. I was private chefing at nights. I was running 2 restaurants. I was, in food production now. I'm thinking, what is going on? Not making a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
But figuring it out and just persevering. And, you started having kids, and then that's when things started getting real. How am I going to get out of this mess? How am I going to they're about to start playing baseball, and I'm already struggling. And I'm missing everything. My dad didn't miss a game, a practice, a camp out, anything. I was very fortunate to have a great family.
That's got to be a big burden on your shoulders. I mean,
yeah, it is. And as a man, you're sitting there
you got to provide, but you got to be there.
Yeah, and then I got all these people. I'm in this business where people expect you to be there.
They're invested in you.
You've got 100 employees at that point. You're trying to figure out.
You don't know what COVID's even doing.
So back to the Buster. So Buster became a mentor to me, and I was calling him. And well, not often, but every month.
Where does he live, or did he live? Or
well, let me get to that. He was living in Dallas. He's from Jackson.
Okay.
But he was living in Dallas, and so COVID comes around, and I get a call out of nowhere. It's Buster. He's like, hey, man, my wife's been keeping up with you on this Instagram stuff, and she told me to reach out to you, and she's got respiratory issues, so I'm stuck at my house, and I'm going to help you get through this. And I'm like, really? He's like, yes. He's like, I just got this Zoom TV. Guess how many Zoom meetings I've had? And I'm like, how many? He goes, this is the first one. And he's like, I'm going to put my daughter in charge of you because she was a teacher and they're not teaching right now. But as we figure this thing out, she'll be feeding you information. He's like, so first thing they told me is, all the restaurants around here are putting these QR code things on the tables and people are ordering.
Oh, he was giving you insight from Dallas?
Yeah. He's like, now we got chefs and you got to do this because you're never going to get this back into time. You've got to do something for your community and have the community match you. So you need to start feeding all the police stations and the fire stations and all these essential workers, and just get the community to say you'll match them. So we were saying, Venmo us, and whatever you Venmo, we'll match it. And that way we could keep our crews working. We could, I mean, it got so fun. I was walking into like Kroger and being like, thank y'all so much for working. We want to bring y'all lunch tomorrow. And they'd be like, what? Let me talk to my manager. And the manager would be like, what do you want to do? I'd be like, we want to feed y'all lunch tomorrow. How many employees do you have? Well, what do you want us to do? Nothing. We appreciate you staying open. We were going to Ace Hardware, places. Every time I'd go somewhere, I'm like, thank God they're open. Like, let's feed them. And so we did that. But so anyway, I was trying to figure out like what am I doing, man? I'm the chef. I don't really, have this like business fully figured out yet. And Buster said, well, hey, I'm gonna come to town and I'm gonna help you. I think, and he studied my whole organization. He went to Manship. He went to Aplós. He like really spent a lot of time with me, 3 or 4 days. And he said, all right, here's the deal. And I was looking at doing another concept at the time. He said, here's the deal. You need to trade Aplós for Manship. It's going to be a simple transaction. Aplós is your thing. Something number 2, you need to fall in love with Aplós. You need to quit trying to be, I know this restaurant's making me excited. It's a beautiful space, but we were in the space I was getting ready to maybe do. Yeah. He's like, you got to quit chasing every real estate agent and every business that's going out of business, and you thinking you're going to come in and save it, because you do have great ideas and you got a lot of energy, but you need to focus your energy on Aplós. And he said, and what's it going to cost to buy one of your partners out? I'll buy them out. Just tell me. He said, I've been helping you for 10 years. I think you're the real deal. I want to buy one of your partners out, and I'm going to help you get out of this, because all I hear you talking about is these 3 boys, and you ain't never going to spend any time with them the way you're going.
Man.
So he buys out one of my partners, and it wasn't as easy as we thought trading the restaurants. So we're still in the process of trading the restaurants. But anyway, he said, buckle up, let's go. And I'm going to teach you how to do it. And we started the process, and he was, calling me every morning. He's like, we need floor mats. I'm going to bring you some floor mats. So he drove from Dallas and brought floor mats to the restaurant. And we have a floor mat store, but he just was so into it. He wanted to come, I think, kind of get out of the house a little bit. But but anyway, he ended up having a bunch of strokes, small strokes. And then he started kind of changing and being like, I'm worried about expanding the Jackson location. I'm like, but we're already doing that, Buster. And like something kind of seemed off. Yeah. But turns out on a little bit after Christmas, he ended up committing suicide.
Oh, man. But
it turns out he had some strokes, and I think it affected his personality. His personality was his life. Mm-hmm. So, but it reaffirmed. I understood why he started questioning things, because that he had that stroke and everything. But everything he taught me in that 6 months prepared me for what I was doing now.
Wow.
And at that exact time, this retired couple, known as Gil and Sally, came in. Well, they were already in my life, but they realized, a lot of these restaurant people, they don't fully understand how to make money. And she was a retired partner from Deloitte. He was a finance guy from Dallas. And to keep their brains working and not get Alzheimer's and old like all their retired friends, they essentially adopted me and took over and completely changed everything now that I was out on my own.
The bookkeeping side, you're saying?
Bookkeeping, finance, operation, not the operations, but the whole finance.
Yeah.
Accounting, you need to switch accountants. Your accountant's not doing good. We need to get you on these programs. So I've spent the past 2 years really dialing in the financial and going from being a chef to a CEO to now my main focus is, now that I'm getting ready to open a 3rd location in Oxford, getting ready to open this Mexican restaurant.
Did you say Starville?
No, not Starkville. It's funny. One of my investors, I was talking about, if we get to Oxford and it works, we're opening ourselves up for Texas and Georgia and Tennessee. And he chimed in. It's my best friend. And he chimed in and said, Alex, are we not thinking about going to Starkville? Are we not trying to target Chula and Meridian and Tupelo? So that's just a little funny. Starkville ain't ready. Their summers are too slow. I'm a state guy, but I'm going to end up liking Ole Miss just fine, I think.
Yeah, I think you'll do very well there.
But yeah, so anyway, they got in there, and now they rounded out me as far as a business, and to come out of the kitchen and into the business was a lot better than going from the business into the kitchen. And like Buster, I've got a million things he taught me, but he said, Alex, you're not a needle in a haystack. You're a needle in a million haystacks. Not many restaurant guys are come out of these kind of kitchens that you've come out of. You got a head on your shoulders like you do. Well-educated, well-spoken. They're business people. And so you got something right here that nobody can replicate as long as you keep being humble and doing this and surrounding yourself with people that are better than you at what you're not good at. So back to your point. Yeah. You got to know how to keep the books, but then you find a bookkeeper.
Right.
You got to know how to cater and then find a catering director.
Right.
You got to know how to operate a kitchen to open a restaurant. You got to know how to do these things and then hire good people to do them. And that's something that I'm learning now is how to scale.
Right.
And I'm not
good at that at all.
Me either. And be completely honest, I've hired scaling coaches that come in and are coaching me on how to scale, because what's the number one thing that fails when you open a second, third, fourth location? It doesn't cross over. Your systems aren't in place. You've got a handbook, but nobody's reading it. You've got people that sign off on these handbooks and then you lose them. So that's really what I've been focused on, is the stuff that you don't see.
Yeah.
So that the stuff you do see is, in theory, should be really good 95% of the time.
Yeah. That's very interesting.
But I would say, yes, restaurants are just business 101. Yeah. It's just not the only place, but one of the few businesses where manufacturing, customer service, HR, sales, everything's happening in one building. Mm-hmm. The raw product and the finished product are all switching in one space.
Speaking of raw, when you going to put raw kibbe on the menu?
So I do offer raw kibbe over the holidays.
Do you really?
Yes, I do. And I will make it. If you call me, I'll make it. And I usually make one big batch and then distribute it. So a lot of the Lebanese in town call me for it. But raw meat like that there's people that like it, but it's few and far between.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of people.
So you got a bunch of raw meat sitting around, raw kibbe, and it's on day 2. I mean, day 3, day 4 comes up, then you're killing people.
Man,
so there's a reason why you don't see a whole lot of raw kibbe.
That's right, menus. But that's my wife's family. They make kibbe all the time, and I'd never had it.
Yeah. So if we were in Greenville, we'd probably have it on the menu, or Clarksdale, or there's a lot of Lebanese in the Delta.
Raw onion, raw kibbe.
Yeah, it's raw onion, raw ground meat. They probably use lamb, but we use beef around here. Bulgur wheat, and then like a cinnamon, allspice, salt, and onion, ground onion. It's sounds crazy, but it's good.
Have you ever ate at Rest Haven in Clarksdale?
No. They asked me that, though.
That's good stuff. So what's your favorite thing to cook?
I like slow cooking. So Cajun food, red beans and rice, gumbos. I like braising foods, slow cooking duck, anything that takes like processes and layering. Mm-hmm. But I also enjoy taking what I love about Aplós is trying to make quality food fast and efficiently. Mm-hmm. So you take your fine dining skills and your fine dining knowledge and say finished product that you expect in a fine dining, and you try to apply it to basically fast food.
I think that's an incredible concept.
Yeah. So we started doing things like, we brine our chicken, which would be kind of a fine dining concept. And then we brought in grills to give it the grill taste, because we originally used flat top. And then we brought in these special slicers slice the chicken because we're going through hundreds and hundreds of pounds of chicken. I mean, our grilled chicken, that's one of the things we changed at COVID. We had chicken shawarma. Well, we put grilled chicken on the menu, and now that's our number one seller. We put wings on the menu. We were getting we were a woman spot and a good weather spot. We weren't getting any of the Paul Hoppers. The Paul Hoppers of the world, the hard asses with the button-up shirt and the work boots on and the Tacticam SIM cards in their pocket because that's all they've been doing all day is checking cameras. We weren't getting any of them, so we had to put wings and.
Dude, those Greek wings are incredible.
See? Now look, he just started. That's when he started.
Hey, I'm telling you, it's Sunday after church. The to go right there at Renaissance.
Yeah,
it's Greek wings and grape leaves. Those grape leaves.
Yeah,
I mean,
my mom will let you know if they're not right. So I keep her on the consistency part, but. Yeah, we had people that would want the grape leaves, but then you got the guy that's like, man, I want some wings. I mean, I'm about to watch the Saints game. Like, I don't want chicken shawarma and a hummus right now. Like y'all can have that. I'll just pick up nukes. So we adjusted, and that's the thing. You gotta swallow your pride.
Yeah.
If you've got to get the people what they want and constantly try to evolve, and that's the nature of any business.
Right.
But for you even, and I keep comparing it to you, but I mean, you've got to stay on top of the technology and how you're going to show land and how you're going to market land and how you're going to, how you're going to fix up land.
You can turn a blind eye to it, but your competition's going to do it. And
competition is the greatest thing you have.
That's right.
And if you focus on them, you're not going to do well. So keep your head down. Do your market research and try to stay ahead of the game.
All right. So tell me about the Mexican gig. What's this looking like?
Jeez.
You said elevated Mexican. So
I like to call it sex Mex. So it's not dirty Mexican. It's not upscale Mexican. It's sexy Mexican. So we're going to have good margaritas, good drinks. We call them skinny mamaritas because we're going after the moms. The moms that say, I just don't like their margaritas. It's too much sugar in it. So we're trying to have a section of just sugar-free, really quality. I've been actually doing a bunch of tequila samplings, and I don't drink a whole lot. I will drink, but 2:00 doing a tequila tasting on a Monday is nuts. But trying a bunch of tequilas. I took my boys surfing in Mexico in Puerto Escondido. We went to surf school and went down there to kind of check out the vibe. We flew into Mexico City, and actually, it's apparently a real dangerous town. One of my buddies at Ergon picked me up, took me into Mexico City, and an Ergon employee showed me around. It was incredible.
Really?
So hats off to Ergon. Love you, Will and Walt. Thank you. But so that we went to Mexico City, Puerto Escondido, and then I went to Dallas and worked at a place called Cactus Canyon, which is like upper tier, high quality Tex-Mex. So the concept is La Presa, and that means the prey. And I named it the prey because me and my boys are turkey hunters, and we like to trap. And you know how fun that is, just going out there with the kids and killing coons and possums. And so that actually is why I love my land, is because we don't have big deer. I rely on my rich friends for that, for the deer hunting and duck hunting.
Yeah.
And it helps. I don't think they'd invite me if I couldn't cook.
Right. I was going to say,
by the time they get about 3 or 4 weekends of twice baked potatoes and steaks, I start getting the invites. Then it's time to break out the Thai food and Alex is in there cooking some duck and they don't have me because they like me, but so the name is La Presa, means the prey, and then you've got kind of the Tom versus Jerry is kind of the theme. I'm thinking of a cat versus mouse or a man going after a woman. So the drink menu's kind of like got sexual references, the skinny mamaritas, the cocktail pappies, the frozen baddies, which is like frozen badasses, but it's the non-tequila section's called the side piece, and it says, let's be real, tequila's our main thing. So you got that. So it's really going to be a taqueria, so a taco shop and some quality Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not trying to be fancy. I'm just trying to say some of these Mexican restaurants around any town, especially southern towns, are pretty in your face, giving you really horrible quality. And they don't even have to, but really bad quality products. So they're putting the cheapest sour cream. They're not even making guacamole. It's a avocado puree you can buy. And they're doctoring that up. And you'll notice they're giving you 3 little scoops. The little sour cream that's not enough but for 1 taco. The guacamole, which is enough for 1, and you got 3. And then the like pico that's barely seasoned. So that's my competition.
Yeah.
And so actually, one of my operators, Christian Rodriguez, he's from Venezuela. He was the one that told me, you're making everything but money. So he helped me turn manship around. He helped me with all my systems. And this is kind of a nod to him. I'm more of the investor and I'm calling myself the creative director. Mm-hmm. I'm making sure it's on theme. It's what people are going to want around here. But he's actually headed to Mexico City Sunday to go work on a bunch of taqueria trucks and stands with some of the girls that work for us, their family. So he's going to Mexico City to work 6 days. One day he'll be on an al pastor stand. The next day, the birria taco, which is kind of like the French dip of the taco world. He'll be doing like the carne asada. And, we'll probably have to call it a ribeye steak taco. But like, that's where the creative director comes in.
Yeah.
My primary focus is Aplós.
Yeah.
Now, I'm investing in this just like an investor.
Right.
I just happen to be a professional on this field, and I'm going to help him get it going. And we're kind of figuring out, I think it'll probably take off, and that'll maybe be his focus. And if so, I'll find another guy to operate Aplós with me. But I'm hoping we find someone to run the taqueria, and then he's back helping me open Aplós and auction.
Right.
But it's a fluid thing, and you don't ever want people around you to feel like I just work for Alex. You want to show people,
right,
put your money where your mouth is, and show people that like there is a path forward. That's how I like everyone around me to be, is, one plate at a time. We bring communities together. That's kind of our core values. Mm-hmm. We bring communities together one plate at a time, and growth is the only option. So I don't want anyone to come work for me that doesn't have a growth path. Right. And if you're not growing, it's probably your fault at this point.
Yeah.
But back to La Presa, it's going to be really good margaritas. It's going to be affordable like Aplós. It's going to be kind of a technology where you can order and pay at the table, or you can put up a card and we'll come see what you need. But it's not going to be like 100% full service. When
will it open?
They're going quick, probably 6 weeks.
Oh, nice.
I'm supposed to be in Napa for a birthday, so probably when I'm supposed to be in Napa. But yeah, it'll be my first restaurant without investors. So that's, I'm usually using OPM, other people's money. So a little bit different, but like I said, my primary focus is going to be Aplós. So I can't forget what Buster said.
Yeah.
He'd probably be mad at me for doing this, but I threw out a deal that, it is a home run deal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't
well, and you've got experience now. You've seen the potholes from the ground up.
Yeah.
So, it'd be one thing if you were coming out of the gate and trying to juggle
and it's kind of like, you buy a farm, you got to buy the tractor, you got to buy the deer stands, you got to unload the deer stands. You don't think about those little things. You got to put them together. I ain't coming over here for that. And then, but once you have those things, it ain't no thing to buy another piece of land and move your stuff over there and cut it.
Know what to do.
Yeah, you can get your forks and move the stand this time.
Right.
So there is some benefits to having been through war.
Right. Yeah.
And
that's gonna.
But it's a new concept. Yeah. It's not. You open the second Aplós, it was almost like plug and play. Hopefully the third. Now the third's risky because we're out of town and never done that. It's going to have its own set of circumstances, but I'm building a team around me. Mm-hmm. I've started a management company that will manage Aplós primarily, and then if you need the appraisal will need a service or two, like the controller, they'll pay the management company for that. But so my thought behind that is, if I do sell Aplós eventually one day, the people that buy it might want to keep the management company, or buy the management company with it.
That's
so
very
there's
interesting, man.
it's just kind of looking
way
at
more to it.
Oh yeah,
Than
and scaling. You gotta.
Chef.
For instance, have you ever heard of Shake Shack? Never. Well, so Shake Shack started in New York as a little burger stand, and then they grew it to a international IPO. So it just went on IPO. I mean, it's worth billions. The guy behind it's a guy named David Swinghammer. I went and heard him speak in Vegas at the Restaurant Finance Conference. So now I'm going to used to go to equipment shows. Now I go to finance conferences. Suit and tie. So it's just a different world. But I met David Swinghammer, who was the guy that took it from one to IPO. He told me how to do it. This is what you need to do. And I said, can I record this conversation? And he said, yeah. Now this guy's like the investor behind On Cloud Shoes. I mean, it's a big time guy. And for him to give me that hour of his time was incredible. But he said, every time you hire for a main position, for instance, I just hired like a controller to do because this is getting too much for me. Keeping up with investors, leases, paying out disbursements, compliance. When you go, now I'll have 200 employees. I need to hire for that role. Right. And so he said, every time you hire for that role, you'll be like, I should have done that a year ago. So that's kind of how I'm seeing this now, is like, as soon as I can afford someone to take something off my plate,
yes,
I'm hiring it. And that way I'm working on the business instead of in it.
Oof.
And that's why today, when you said, man, I hate we have a malfunction. Well, I use that opportunity to go change gaskets on all the equipment because that's what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And that's a good way for me to be in the business with the people and then being like, damn, man, look at him with that. I didn't know. I didn't think he'd have a screwdriver.
Yeah, I figured he'd be.
I
figured he'd be sitting at about a pool somewhere.
I look at my truck. I look like I'm one of y'all. I look like It's funny because I'm in fifth grade football. I look like I started right. I mean, I told someone I was going to tell this story on this podcast. But when I came onto the field, they'd be like, "Run and play," because I was a receiver, and I looked like I started, but the only time I got dirty was when I was warming up. I'd rub a little dirt on me. So, now I got into hunting, and so I look like I am the turkey slayer.
Right.
I got the truck with I look like I'm about to build a house, but I'm the worst turkey hunter. I scare more turkeys and screw up more turkey hunts, but I love it.
Hey, what's the best way to cook a wild turkey leg?
Confit. So cooking it in duck fat. Yeah.
Really?
So you'll season it and cure it overnight, and then you'll buy duck fat and bake it basically at a low temp. Mm-hmm. And then you pull it out after it's cooked and let it cool. Keep the skin on, by the way. And it'll have a texture kind of like pulled pork. And then you just sear that duck leg when you're ready to eat it, and sear that skin and crisp it up, and then flip it and stick it in the oven and make you a little berry sauce of some sort. I like those like wild berry preserves.
Yeah. Maybe
a little Worcestershire, a little soy sauce, and cook that down. Maybe even use the duck bones to make a stock. But yeah, I can't really figure out the breast. You got to be pretty spot on with the breast.
Yeah.
I think not overcooking the breast, but
yeah,
the duck leg, I think.
I asked like I'm gonna do it or
no,
know what I'm doing.
You're probably not gonna do it, but that's why you have me out to Zuma Bend, baby.
That's right.
I'll come cook it for you.
Come on, bring some kibbe when you come.
Yeah.
Goodness. All right, so you got 3 places to eat that are not your restaurant. Where are you going?
Man, I'm simple. Now, people ask me that all the time. But I would say I like going to eat sushi. My boys like sushi, so we go to Securabana. Mm-hmm. Of course, I'm real good friends with Derek Emerson, so I'll go to one of his restaurants. We went to...
Man, I got that beef rib over there.
Yeah, we had it Sunday. Yeah. So we'll go there. I got another one. We go to Sacred Ground on Sunday after checking cameras. Good spot. He does a great job. He takes a lot of pride in everything he does. And then... my favorite restaurant right now, I think it's the best restaurant in the state, hands down. Best job is Polito. Chaz Lindsay at Polito in Bellhaven.
I've never been there.
You need to go. Take your wife.
What do I need to get?
Man, it is a home run.
Polita.
It is Italian, real Italian. So, I mean, not to take anything away from like America's. I love America.
Yeah.
But that's Americanized. That's kind of like my Greek restaurant. It's Americanized.
Yeah.
But he's doing, I mean, Two Dog Farms, everything from here in Florida. Really good ingredients, top notch. He's classically trained in some fine dining. He's really still the real chef and business guy, but he's way more chef than I am now. I mean, hell, I wear Sitka shirts now. So.
Made it, man.
Yeah, but I do enjoy still getting in the kitchen and doing. I only cook now for charities, so I'll do private dinners, donate dinners to schools, and that's kind of how I get my chef fix. Still is doing like a 6-course dinner for. It's free for the school, and then somebody will bid on it. Like I just did one.
Oh yeah.
Selfishly, I wanted to go to a badass hunting camp, so this time I made it. I will come to your hunting camp when you're in the doghouse and need to treat your wife. It was like worded like chef experience for your wife when you've been in the woods too long. Have your friends out. Alex will come. I didn't say I get to hunt, but hopefully I get to hunt.
That's going to be an asterisk.
But I mean, they're raising $4,000 to $6,000 for charity, so that's kind of how I spend my time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're always at the worst time too. It's like when you get invited to some awesome camp, but you got to do something for free.
Right.
So.
That's right. Alex, I really appreciate you coming on. You got a heck of a story. I'm a little upset you didn't bring grape leaves for us to munch on, but
you got some free work.
There we go. I did get some labor out of it.
Yeah, let's do this again in a year, and I'll let you know what it's like out of town and then with 4 restaurants.
I like it.
And I'll be able to teach you what not to do on that. How to sell land in another state or something.
There we go. I like it. All right. Thank you, Alex.
Yes, sir.